Well, folks, we're back here, just reminiscing through some of the highlights of a drink of wisdom. I think drink hit on a number of real impactful ones. Certainly, the passing of Kobe Bryant was to me the most emotional show that we did, um, and I think the what were the other ones you said? They were so impactful. I didn't forgotten already. Of course.
I said so. I thought the most impactful were the one that number one was the Jordan and LeBron debate.
Right.
Kobe Bryant came in at number two because where he represented. Number three was, and I thought this was like the high point of our show, was that the ACC replacing the Big 12 football conversation. Then I brought up, the first overall show we ever did together that, of course, that was impactful because we were just getting our bearings together. Flopping around with the Facebook Live, that just was funny. I don't know how impactful that was. That was just a funny moment for me. And then I brought up the, us cutting the promos, doing that, that I thought that was fun. And then the fact that, hey, we started on Skype, ended up on Zoom. We started a 2-man crew, eventually went to 3-man crew, went back to a 2-man crew. I think those was pretty much all of it. I might miss one or two, but for the nutshell, that was the ones I hit on.
Yeah, the Jordan LeBron one was one that it always felt like it was a background subject that we were going to get to at some point. And there was I think it was around the time of All-Star Weekend, perhaps that's when I think it was a Kenny Smith LeBron interview. And I think that's what led to that. But I think that was no doubt the longest segment that we had. We went on and on at that one for quite a while. But I think there was a couple college football segments that we didn't expect to pop, so to speak, and they did. It was pretty entertaining to see. There's some other underrated ones. For some reason, you may remember this one. There was a Phillip Rivers segment that we did. I thought it was generally one of our better debates. And it was, I think we were saying, like, was Phillip Rivers done, or could he bring Indianapolis something? And I remember you being full scale done with Phillip Rivers. And I've never been much of a Phillip Rivers guy, but I said, look, Indianapolis, he got a good support system. I think he'll get in the playoffs. I think he did wind up getting to the playoffs, but that was that's for some reason, like, my mind keeps having that one because I remember it being very entertaining. I think Cody was with us then.
Right.
I just think it was one of our better debates. And then for me personally, I always enjoyed like subjects that get me a little animated, a little riled up. I always enjoy the good old Brian Gutekunst subjects, the absolute neglect of the Green Bay Packers wide receiver room. I'm going to miss those because I feel like there's still more juice in that lemon, so to speak, because he's still out there playing around. Also, look, Daniel Snyder, we took a lot of time, letting people know what we think of you. Not good. Hopefully, now that we're done, you can get your act together. I don't believe that for a second, but those are a couple ones that just jump out at me, just kind of continuous subjects. It's particularly the one right after they drafted Jordan Love. I just remember being so confused and flabbergasted. And, and I think in that one, I was turned out right. And then one of the ones that's kind of somewhat of an outlier, and you brought it up, and I'm glad you did, when we talked about the moving of the Major League Baseball All-Star game from Atlanta to Colorado to Denver. And it was all based on a political narrative around the Georgia state legislature voting law that they had just enacted. And it was so interesting to me because I actually took the time to go back, read what was in the bill, and bring it to the table and say, this is not what people are saying this law is. And there is no reason that baseball should do this. But they did. But in the end, the Atlanta Braves got the last laugh by winning the World Series. How appropriate.
Right.
Those are some of the ones that stick out. I mean, we had the Ben Simmons is another one, just trying to Ben Simmons and Kyrie Irving, a couple of guys who Antonio Brown can get thrown in there, just seemingly guys with all the talent in the world, but you just wonder what's going on in between the two earlobes. Like you just can't figure it out, but worth a lot of material. Really, I don't think I'm capable of going of just, we don't have the time and I don't have the memory off the top of my head to go through some of the segments that just made this show what it was. With that, I go into some quick thank yous because there are. It is appropriate for us to get to roll out some thank yous. First and foremost, I want to thank my family for giving me the time, allocating me the time to put into this show for as long as it went on. This show would be nothing without them letting me come in here on Tuesdays and Fridays normally, put in the time, and not only the time to record, but the time to put a little bit of prep in our long-standing Google Doc, the time after the show to let it process and put it out on the different platforms and all the social medias and all that. And then just the time during the week, where we're just watching the games or reading up on some things to make sure we're staying current with what's going on. So thank you first and foremost to my family for for giving me the time. Second, can't say enough about the third member of the crew who joined us a little bit late and left us. He didn't die. Let's just get out the way. He's still around, but left us too soon, in our opinion. Unfortunately, he made a determination earlier than I did that he had to pursue other things and take more, just take care of himself and his family. But Cody Ward, who filled in as our host, but also gave analysis on every show, and it was definitely always maybe I think we probably maybe disagree with him a little bit more just because he was a little bit more off the cuff, but he always brought something new to the table, always brought the financial aspect is probably the most memorable for me, and it's always good to catch up on what's going on in Jacksonville with the Jaguars, so we always love that. But thank you to him for being with us for so long, and last but not least, certainly the audience, the viewers. Whether you came through just once or you came through multiple times, thank you all for letting us be a part of your some of your podcast listening or some of your multimedia use. We hope you got something out of it. We hope we taught you something, made you laugh, or whatever the case may be. But in the end, thank you all for coming through and as always, spending a little time with us.
Yeah, man. Listen, first and foremost, I got to thank the man above. I do have a faith. We don't talk about faith on the show a lot, but I do believe in a higher power. So I want to thank the great man above for waking me up every day and giving me the skills and talent to come on here and try to entertain and be able to balance everything to make this work, right? Number two, on par what you said, hey man, I gotta thank my wife, man. I gotta thank my wife, my beautiful girls, my grandmother-in-law, you know what I'm saying? All of them played a big role into allowing me to be able to, like you said, take 3-4 hours out, 2-3 times a week. That's just to prep for the show. What the part that people don't understand is we still got to sit down and watch the games, and we got to sit down and do other things that's not necessarily part of the prep per se, but that's part of the prep. To sit there and take hours at a time to watch football all Sunday, and then go into Monday working on the show, Tuesday performing the show, Wednesday getting it out. It's you're asking a family a lot, and listen, I get it. No success comes without sacrifice. I get that. But I would be remiss not to, thank them, you know what I'm saying? Because they put up with a lot of my bull jive, as Shannon Sharp say, to get on here and make this happen. right? Third, I think I got to thank you, man. I got to thank you for accepting my invite back in 2019. Listen, you brought this up to me in 2000. It wasn't quite 2014. I don't remember the first time you brought this up. And I was just like, yeah, about that, boss. Hey, I got a lot going on now. I can't do that. Yeah. And then, like, time went past, and then, I finally got that fire under me, and I'm like, you know what? Let me hit up Jay and see what he think about, pursuing this again. And I hit you up, and probably the next week we was hooking and jabbing. We was in this thing ready to go. So I gotta thank you, man, because listen, this is a 2-man crew, 3-man crew sometimes. I couldn't have made it this far by myself. Couldn't made a Drink of Wisdom podcast by myself. So without you, it wouldn't be no Drink of Wisdom. I mean, the show is called A Drink of Wisdom. Without you, it'll be a drink of something. I don't know what it'll be.
A drink.
So a drink, just a drink. So I have to thank you for accepting that and then sticking with it, and we making this to where we have made it today, right? And then last but not least, listen, it wouldn't be no point without an audience / supporters, right? For the ones that did stick around, even when we had our brief stint with Colorcast, and for the people that stuck around, I know, like, listen, it's hard to show your support, consistently, because you got your own things going on in life. But I would say this, man, we one of the few shows that came on, we didn't ask our supporters for one dime. We didn't, hey, I throw my cash out just because I think it looks cool and that's what other people do. But at the end of the day, I never personally went up to anybody and said, hey, donate to our show, make this show better by giving us money for this. Hey, we selling merch, I got some shirts done for my other channel. It was just for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never one time like, here go a shirt. Please buy a shirt to support. Like, and I never heard you say the same, so we never went out and, hey, I'm going to do this raffle for this $5 item and then try to, get people to pay $5 per raffle. Like, we didn't do that. We came on here. We gave it to you real. We thank you for the support, and we kept it pushing. Never was too pushy. I released the show on my channel. If you didn't like it, all you had to do was unfriend me. You know what I'm saying? Unfriend me on Facebook, unfriend me on Instagram, whatever case might have you. But at the end of the day, I don't think we was overly pushy. I don't think we was just trying to force a product on anybody. All I ask, hey, subscribe to the channel. Either you did it or you didn't. And, to the ones that stuck around from A to Z and that supported us, throughout and out, you know who you are. Hey, man, much appreciation to you guys. And listen, we made it this far, and we wouldn't have did it this far without anybody. You know what I'm saying? So we had some people that gave us the motivation to get up every, Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, or Friday, or Saturday, whichever day we was doing the show, and and allow us to keep that wheel going. So without the fans and without the audience, where will we be? So, last but not least, I do have to give that shout out to you guys.
Yeah. Let me jump back in just to a couple people I overlooked, obviously. Drink's right about this, and this is something I don't know if we've ever touched on it, but I do want to take the opportunity to thank God for for giving us the breath and the wherewithal and confidence, somewhat, so to speak, to come on here and share our opinions and views of what we see. And also, Drink's very kind in thanking me, but he's deserving of plenty of thanks as well. I said this, I tell this story to a lot of people. I say I meet people all the time, and I always try to go to sports if I can, because that's something that I speak very well. And this is not to knock anybody, but generally speaking, when I talk sports with people, they just at a different level, and generally speaking, they at a lower level. And that's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. Drink is the one guy that I've met who I felt like we understood things on the same level. And it's because of that, I wanted that I feel like we picked each other for this role. So, I mean, for all the work and time that Drink put in, thank you for that so much. I know it wasn't always, there was some bumps in the road here and there, but all in all, I mean, I think, from one half of the show to the other, the show, in my opinion, at least from a content perspective, I always viewed it as a success. And I don't think we did say the show is being discontinued, but just to be clear, what that means, we do not know when the show will be back. We do anticipate we will be back at some point. We just don't know when that is. So we are not canceling the show completely. All the material is going to be left up, but this is just going to be kind of an indefinite pause. So with that being said, thank you for everyone who's ever came through and ever liked, ever listened, ever shared or subscribed. Thank you all. Thank you all for joining us.
And one more parting gift, being that this is the last time you're going to hear from us for a while, and you know what time it is. Let's talk some sports, baby. You know I had to do it one time for the one time.